Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, today we're shifting gears quite a bit. Forget consumer tech for a moment.
Yeah, we're going heavy industry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're plunging into the kind of fundamental infrastructure that, well, literally keeps things running. We're talking specialized equipment, the gear that safeguards industrial sites, powers huge projects.
Oil and gas, construction, the big ones.
Right. And our mission today is pretty straightforward. Use a catalog from a very specialized distributor, PE Energy, as a kind of window into this often unseen world.
It's a great way in because this source material, it's focused on what PE Energy does, who they are, an authorized industrial distributor. And it's not just what they sell, it's about the precision needed.
Especially for things like confined space safety.
Absolutely. Things like Ramfan blowers, which are just critical for safety. And then you see how one company juggles supplying, thousands of really specific parts across all these heavy industries.
So we're kind of looking at two things for you today. First, the really specific high-stakes tech details, like these Ramfan blowers. And second, zooming out a bit to see the whole logistics ecosystem that a company like PE Energy has to manage. You know, everything from specialized lubricants to safety tools.
It paints a picture, definitely.
Yeah.
Precision logistics meeting massive industrial risk.
Okay, so let's start where the risk is probably highest.
Oh,
Safety ventilation, confined spaces.
right. Think tanks, big pipes, trenches, any enclosed area workers have to enter. Getting breathable air in there is priority one.
And the source material actually has a section, how to choose a fan, which tells you right away, this isn't like picking a desk fan. The requirements are incredibly specific.
Yeah, what jumps out immediately is that this isn't just about moving air. It's certified, often explosion-proof, powerful air exchange designed specifically for these hazardous environments. You know, toxic fumes, lack of oxygen.
Immediate threats. And they list two main types of electric blowers, which kind of shows that the solution has to fit the job, right?
Exactly. It needs to be proportional.
Sure. So you see the split pretty clearly. On one end, you've got the, let's say, more compact units. The source mentions a 0.3 horsepower electric motor.
Typically, yeah. And those usually have an 8-inch or 20-centimeter size for the housing and fans.
The source lists a few models here, the RamFan ED7002, ED8002, and ED9002. These are the UB20 series.
And these smaller ones, they're generally for, tighter spaces, easier to move around, good for spot ventilation, or smaller tanks where the air volume isn't massive.
But then you need more muscle sometimes.
Oh, yeah. For the heavy-duty stuff, you step up the power significantly.
Right. The source points to the UB30 series. These jump up to a full 1-horsepower electric motor. That's, more than triple the power?
Pretty much. And they're bigger, too, usually 12-inch or 30 centimeters. The models cited are the Ramfan EJ4002 and EJ8002.
And that jump from 0.3 HP to 1 HP, that's not trivial.
Not at all. It's critical. It's the difference between clearing out a manageable little space versus needing rapid air exchange in a huge storage tank or a really long utility trench.
So the 1 HP is about speed and volume.
Absolutely. Maximum air turnover velocity. When you need to clear hazardous fumes fast, that's what you need. Moving the entire atmosphere of a big space quickly.
And the fact that PE Energy makes a point of saying they are an authorized RamFan distributor.
That says a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. It screams high stakes. You cannot risk worker safety with equipment that isn't certified or sourced correctly.
Supply chain integrity literally equals human safety in this context. There's no room for error.
Which brings us nicely to PE Energy itself, the organization providing that integrity. They frame themselves as the, quote, premium source for procuring and shipping high-quality parts and equipment.
And interestingly, an industry-leading one-stop shop.
That one-stop shop line, that seems central to how they operate.
It seems to be their core value proposition, yeah. They're aiming squarely at these huge capital-intensive sectors: oil and gas, construction, big industrial operations, machining, even other niche industries.
Claiming to be a master of all those, it's ambitious. Does it risk diluting their focus, maybe?
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
But their model seems to lean more on logistics expertise and their manufacturer relationships rather than claiming to be, say, manufacturing experts themselves.
Ah, okay. So they acquire products as per your request. That's a direct quote, using these established connections.
Right. It feels less about holding massive generic stock and more about being the trusted, authorized pipeline for the specific things these industries need.
So they're specializing in being reliable.
And accountable, I'd say. Efficiency, too. By having those relationships, they can presumably get certified gear, maybe offer bulk pricing, and guarantee that supply chain continuity.
Which, if you're running a major energy project, is huge.
Totally. Having one vendor who can quickly source that certified blower and the special lubricant you need and the right safety tools, all with factory backing. That simplifies procurement immensely.
Reduces headaches, reduces liability.
Big time. And their reach seems to back this up. They mentioned PE Energy Mexico in their link with Industrial Stop. It shows they're not just local.
Right, suggests they're set up for international projects, too, where getting mission-critical parts across borders reliably is, well, critical.
Adds another layer of complexity they seem equipped to handle. You can contact them directly too. They list a phone, +1 281 310 0628, and email psales@p-energy.com.
Okay, now this is where, for me, it gets really interesting. The Ramfan blower is obviously important, but it's just the start. When you scroll through the rest of their catalog, wow.
Yeah.
It's like a blueprint for preventing industrial failure. The sheer variety of specialized stuff is kind of amazing.
It really is. And you're right, it's not random. You can almost see it as a map of where things can go wrong in heavy industry. Every category addresses a potential failure point or hazard.
So maybe we should group some of this stuff, make sense of the list.
Good idea. Let's structure it a bit. Where do you want to start? How about the basics, keeping machines running?
Okay, yeah. Lubrication and fluids. They list Whitmore Manufacturing products pretty prominently.
Right, and look what's under that umbrella. Air Sentry Desiccant Breathers. Okay, that sounds technical, but it's basically insurance.
How so?
Well, they stop moisture water vapor from getting sucked into things like gearboxes or hydraulic fluid tanks when the fluid level changes. And moisture is just death for bearings and internal components.
Ah, so it's preventative maintenance.
Exactly. It shows they're thinking about machine lifespan, not just immediate function. Then you see compressor oils, food-grade lubes for specific applications, obviously chain lubricants, standard enough.
But then there's this term, friction modifiers. That sounds intense. What exactly is that? Why is it listed separately?
Okay, yeah, a friction modifier isn't just your standard oil. It's like a specialized chemical additive. It actually changes the properties of the metal surfaces under extreme pressure.
Extreme pressure, like?
Think huge, heavily loaded gears in, say, a mining truck or industrial machinery. Places where the pressure is so high, a normal oil film would just get squeezed out, leading to metal-on-metal grinding.
Which sounds bad.
Catastrophic, potentially.
Well,
welding itself together. Friction modifiers create a sort of protective chemical layer that prevents that, allowing high torque and heavy loads without destroying the components. Very specialized stuff.
okay, that makes sense. So extreme specificity needed there. All right, moving from friction to containment. They list sealants and valve care from a company called Lubchem.
Ah, Lubchem. Yeah, vital in oil and gas especially. Think about all the valves, ball, plug, gate valves controlling flow, often under enormous pressure.
You need them to seal perfectly.
Non-negotiable. So Lubchem sealants, cleaners, specific valve lubricants, they ensure those seals hold. A leak isn't just inefficient, it can be dangerous or environmentally damaging.
They also list wireline lubricants. What's that for?
So in oil wells, you often run instruments or tools down on a wire line. That line passes through seals at the wellhead. The lubricant helps seal around that moving wire, preventing high-pressure oil or gas from escaping up the outside of the wire.
Another critical safety barrier then?
Absolutely, protecting the whole operation, really.
Okay, so beyond fluids and seals, the tools themselves are pretty specialized too. We see safety gear brands like Stiffy Hand Safety Tools, and heavier stuff like Slide Sledge and Oteco oil field equipment.
Yeah, the safety tools are interesting. Stiffy tools, for instance, are basically extended reach push-pull tools. They let workers handle pipes or equipment without getting their hands near crush zones or pinch points.
So it's about keeping hands out of harm's way.
Exactly. It's not just convenience. It reflects mandated safety protocols in these high-risk environments. Slide Sledge is for high-impact, non-sparking hammering. Oteco for general oil field hardware.
And for watching over everything, the monitoring side, we see instrumentation brands, Detcon and Detronics.
Right, that's your high-tech safety net. Gas detection, flame detection, fire suppression systems. In places like refineries or gas plants, you need constant, reliable monitoring for explosive atmospheres or leaks.
So PE Energy needs to be able to supply and potentially support these critical sensor systems.
You'd assume so. Calibration, replacement parts.
Yeah.
It's all part of that one-stop-shop idea, presumably.
Okay, but here's the item on the list that, for me, really unlocks the bigger picture, the thing that elevates this beyond just, selling parts.
What's that?
They explicitly mention offering obsolete and rare parts.
Ah, yes. That is significant, isn't it?
It feels huge. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me their role is much bigger than just equipping new projects. Think about massive industrial assets. An oil rig, a power plant, a chemical facility. These things cost fortunes, hundreds of millions, maybe billions, and they're designed to last for decades, maybe 30, 40 years.
Right. You don't just scrap it if one small part breaks.
Exactly. Especially if that part is, say, a unique coupling or an old sensor made by a company that doesn't even exist anymore. That could shut down the entire operation.
So PE Energy being able to source those obsolete and rare parts, they're essentially keeping this older, vital infrastructure alive.
That's a great way to put it. They become like archive keepers or even resurrection specialists for aging, specialized industrial machinery. It makes them a crucial partner for anyone managing long-life assets.
Maximizing the return on huge capital investments.
Precisely. And it underscores why they need those deep relationships with all the major brands they list. It's a long list, too.
Yeah, I noted down Bistolave, JetLube, Pedal Gear Inch, Oil States Industries, Regal Oilfield Products, Solaire, Keystone.
It shows a whole ecosystem built on trust, technical know-how, and probably some serious detective work finding those right parts.
So wrapping this part up, we've gone from the specifics of confined space blowers, like understanding why that jump from 0.3 HP to 1 pp matters for safety.
The proportional risk.
And we've used the rest of their catalog, really, to map out this vast, often invisible supply network that underpins heavy industry.
Yeah, the key takeaway for me is just how dependent the global economy is on this incredibly specialized logistical chain. Every single piece, whether it's a desiccant breather stopping tiny bits of moisture or a valve sealant holding back immense pressure.
It has to be right. Sourced correctly, certified.
Because failure isn't just a breakdown.
Yeah.
It could be a safety incident, an environmental disaster. The stakes are incredibly high. This is supply chain management where mistakes are, well, not really an option.
It really makes you appreciate that behind every skyscraper, every pipeline, every bit of energy we use, there's likely a company working hard to make sure the right friction modifier gets to the right gear at exactly the right time.
Well said. Absolutely. Now, just to pivot slightly for a final thought, moving from the tech details to how they communicate.
Okay.
The source material, their website, presumably,
Yeah.
lists their social media presence. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, even YouTube.
Right. Pretty standard these days.
Well, yes, but think about what they sell. We've just been talking about wireline lubricants, desiccant breathers, friction modifiers, highly specific safety tools.
Extremely niche technical stuff, not exactly viral content.
Exactly. So it raises a really interesting question, maybe for you, the listener, to ponder. How does a distributor of this kind of hyper-specialized technical industrial equipment actually use broad platforms like Facebook or LinkedIn effectively? How do they reach their very specific target audience? The engineers, the procurement managers, the safety officers in oil and gas, construction machining on platforms designed for, well, much wider engagement. It strikes me as a unique marketing and communication challenge.
That is an interesting puzzle. How do you talk about desiccant breathers on Twitter?
Right. Something to think about.
Definitely something to chew on. Okay, thanks for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you on the next one.